My name is Greg Bench. I am on the software team at Amazon. We manage a SaaS offering that basically serves up subscriptions to customers that are shopping on both Amazon.com and Amazon Business. You may not be familiar with Amazon Business, but I will definitely get into that. I ask that you hold questions till the end. I do want to reserve some time for some Q&A if there are any questions. And go ahead and get started. Before I begin, suddenly this clicker, there we go. We ask that you only share this information with people inside your organization that have a need to know. Please consider this information confidential, but at the same time, I'm excited to be here and present this and also learn more about your business in return. So I want to start by focusing on who Amazon is and Amazon's mission. So you may have heard the old, Jeff Bezos quote of starting with the customer and working backwards. So that's exactly what we do, and that's exactly how we approach SaaS at Amazon. We strive to be Earth's most customer-centric company, where we are the destination for customers to find and discover anything that they want to buy online, and that includes SaaS. We focus on three different pillars, as we call them internally, which are price, selection, and convenience. And throughout the presentation, I want to really focus on the selection and convenience pillars, because we want to be the destination that has the most selection of SaaS products for business customers, as well as the most convenient way to buy different types of SaaS products. Amazon is actually, I don't know if you've seen this kind of information before, but Amazon is actually rated #1 most reputable companies. And I'll kind of get into what that means a little bit later in the presentation. But remember this slide. The Harris Poll and the Reputation Institute in 2016 rated Amazon as the #1 most reputable companies, meaning that customers really trust that they're going to have a great experience with us and that everything that they do with us is going to be safe and secure. And speaking of our customers, you may not have seen these numbers before either, but we have a lot of them. This is as of Q3 2016, so these numbers have changed just a little bit. But in Q3 2016, we had over 300 million active worldwide customer paid accounts, which represent customers that have placed an order on their account in the previous trailing 12-month period. In the US, our audience is quite large. So we have over 40 million desktop visitors each month and over 120 million mobile visitors each month. So this opportunity to integrate with our SaaS offering opens up the door to reach hundreds of millions of customers potentially. And we also have business customers. So you may be thinking, is there a distinction between how we focus on consumers versus business customers? And we do. So I wanted to share this statistic before I dive into the business side of my presentation. But in July 2017, so this is also updated since then, but in July 2017, we hit 1 million registered business customers. And I want to focus on a couple of things here. So first of all, these are actually just accounts that may have one or more multiple users. So we have quite a large audience of business customers that are coming to Amazon to buy not only SaaS products, but everything they need to run their business. And also, as I mentioned, this is as of July 2017. When we originally launched our business experience in May 2015, we basically started from zero. So you can kind of assume that we have some pretty aggressive growth and that we're continuing that growth as well. So I've mentioned Amazon Business a lot. You may not be familiar with Amazon Business, but similar to the experience that you see on Amazon.com, we created a marketplace that's dedicated to business customers and sellers. Basically, where they come together, sellers can sell, super specific business products such as industrial supplies or office supplies, things that aren't readily available to consumers on Amazon.com. We offer free registration for businesses that can verify their legitimate business. We ask them to provide some information like their tax identification number. So these are verified businesses shopping and getting different experiences through Amazon Business. We also offer things like Business Prime, which is a tiered discount membership similar to Amazon Prime, but for businesses. And also different features and tools to help businesses manage their spending and track their purchases and make it easy for administrators that are kind of managing these accounts and purchases. So it's basically, in a nutshell, everything you love about Amazon, or I guess I should say, if you love it as much as I do, or as love it as much as my bank account does. But it's everything you love about Amazon, but for your business. I wanted to share this example of what it looks like. It's very similar to the experience you see on Amazon.com. This screenshot right here is an actual event we ran on Prime Day last year, where we featured business subscriptions at a discount to customers shopping on Prime Day. Not sure if you're familiar with Prime Day, but it is the biggest shopping day in Amazon's history, or at least it was up until that point. And we reach customers differently through Amazon Business. So I wanted to get into why we made this separate experience, because it kind of sets up the conversation for where we're going with SaaS and why we're thinking about business customers differently than we do just normal customers that may be buying SaaS or that may be buying software products. So a few years ago, we started doing some analysis, and a couple of different research companies led us to see this information. 94% of business customers conduct some form of online research before buying a product. We think that's important because Amazon is kind of becoming one of those destinations. To be clear, 94% of customers are not coming to Amazon, but Amazon is a destination to find and discover products. 75% of businesses also start their offline purchase online, so they may be finding the best price, or they may be starting a purchase online and then going to a brick and mortar location to complete it. So there's kind of this trend that's happening in the B2B e-commerce industry, where before customers were going to either physical spaces, and now they're kind of doing that purchasing online, which is why we started thinking and looking at our own customer behavior. So we also looked at a specific segment of customers on Amazon and noticed that they were behaving differently. So in addition to kind of this industry trend that we noticed, customers were starting to behave in this way on Amazon. So before we even launched any business experience, we noticed that customers were making multi-quantity purchases. So multiple units of productivity software that they may be using for their team of businesses. Customers were also purchasing business-relevant products specifically, and only business-relevant products. And they were also shipping these to actual business or commercial locations versus residential. So we kind of saw that writing on the wall and thought that there was an opportunity for us to make a separate experience for business customers, which is why we launched Amazon Business in May 2015. And I also wanted to share that the B2B side of software, so we think of it in two different ways. There's B2C, which is kind of what you would think of as Amazon.com consumers, and then Amazon Business is the B2B side. It's growing much faster on the B2B side than it is on the consumer side. So we think that there's a lot of opportunity, obviously a lot of room for growth as we continue to scale this program and reach more SaaS customers. So here's kind of a slice of the actual industries that are served on Amazon Business. This isn't meant to be the finite list of industries that we serve, but this is an example just to show you our wide range of customers. So you can see things that are super generic, like consumer products, or even telecommunications, to very specific pharmaceutical and manufacturing. We're not just targeting one of those industries, and for SaaS specifically, we think that all businesses need some type of software, whether it's productivity or CRM or even something super specific like inventory management. So we want to make this destination where customers are coming to find all of the SaaS products that they need, in addition to all of their other business needs. Which is why we got to thinking as a software team that we could make a separate experience for SaaS. So previously, as you know, software came in a box in a CD-ROM, and you put it into your computer and loaded it up. We noticed that the industry started to change kind of around the same time that we started thinking about these business customers making different decisions. So we launched our SaaS offering in July 2013, so about 5 years ago. We first of all launched in the US and have since grown into multiple marketplaces, which are the UK, France, Germany, and Japan. And as Amazon continues to grow and scale things like Amazon Business and SaaS, we do expect to expand into more marketplaces as well. So going back to that beginning, where we have over 300 million worldwide accounts, you have the opportunity to reach those customers worldwide. So we created this experience that is similar to any other product on Amazon. So first and foremost, we wanted it to look exactly like you're buying any other type of product. We didn't want there to be this friction point of, oh, this is like different than maybe the business supplies that I'm buying, because we knew that that would be an issue for customer trust. And going back to the whole idea of thinking of the customer and starting from there, we wanted to make it as easy and as native as possible for our customers. So we launched this offering where basically everything looks exactly the same to a customer, and then the fulfillment happens on the back end. So we have 3 APIs that you would integrate with. Account creation, account linking, and account deactivation, which basically makes it so that a customer that's purchasing or discovering SaaS on Amazon actually creates and manages their subscription license all through the Amazon UI, which is great because customers do trust our brand. If you remember at the beginning where Amazon is rated #1 most reputable companies, we think that that's a really great value proposition because companies or customers that may be hesitant to go to an independent software vendor and provide some information that they, for a company they aren't familiar with, is a little bit of a challenge, which is why we think that being the distributor of licenses is a great opportunity. So now that I've kind of set up what Amazon's mission is, where we've gone with Amazon Business, and how we approach business customers, I want to dive a little bit deeper into how you can leverage these opportunities to grow your business if you choose to integrate with our offering and distribute through Amazon. So we think of it in a few different ways, and this, again, is not an exhaustive list of all the things that are available to companies that work with Amazon. But these are things that we think are super important. And at the end, we'll share some insights into an actual vendor that followed some of these best practices and saw some really good success. So we focus, obviously, first and foremost on the customer experience. So I'll get into how we make that super frictionless and easy as possible for customers and license management. And also highlight some different ways that you can engage with customers through marketing and free trials, and then some vendor features that make it easy to not only enhance the business shopping purchase or experience, but also to manage products that you're distributing through Amazon as well. So starting with the customer experience, as I've mentioned, Amazon is a trusted brand, and we wanted to make this experience hassle-free. And I want to focus on that because we know that a friction point with SaaS is when customers are entering payment credentials or other personal information to independent companies that they may not be familiar with. So for that reason, we said Amazon should be the reseller and the seller of record. So we have this really great thing called the Amazon Wallet, where we have all of the customer's payment information stored. So we're not asking them to enter payment information again, which from vendors that we've worked with know is a big friction point for customers. We also made it self-service, so customers can manage their license, update their payment information, turn on and off, auto-renew, and basically manage everything all in one place. We also have some marketing opportunities, and I want to focus on this because these are how you can reach hundreds of millions of customers that are shopping on Amazon. I want to focus on 2 things, and again, these are not the only opportunities, but these are 2 very important things that we make super easy to manage. So first and foremost, as the company that owns a product that's being distributed, you can own the customer experience as well. So you may be familiar with, if you've shopped on Amazon and as much as I do, then you're familiar with the way that the site looks and that a product detail page looks. All of that information is actually coming directly from the vendors and sellers and manufacturers that we work with. And that's important because you own that experience. You can tell your own brand story, you can highlight additional features, even post videos about your products, and even engage with your customers through Q&A and respond to customer reviews. So you are have the ability to be super engaged with these customers. A lot of times companies are hesitant because they don't want another company to basically be managing that experience, but we've made it so that it can be managed by an independent company. We also have a search advertising platform called Amazon Marketing Services, which are highly visible placements that target either shopper interests or product keywords or different product segments. So an example of that is on the right. I just did a quick search for security software, and you can see the first two results are actually these search ads. And I wanted to show you this because this is how you appear in number one in product search to these hundreds of millions of customers that are potentially shopping for business products. We also offer, with this search advertising, comprehensive reporting that shows ROI and helps you manage your costs, which we know is another important thing when you are making a decision on where to distribute your products. We also wanted to make these discoverable through not only just product search, but through all of the different ways that customers are purchasing business products, which is why we have the ability to basically feature SaaS to customers that are purchasing either devices or business supplies or either complementary software products. So here's an example of things that we've done with Chromebooks and G Suite. It's pretty simple, but it's really impactful. Walking through left to right, you can see in search results, we have what we call product bundles, where customers can see that there is either a standalone device or they can purchase a device with a subscription all in one transaction and using that payment information they've already stored with Amazon. We also have some automated widgets that help customers kind of compare different product offerings. So you can see here there's a few different Chromebooks as well as a Chromebook bundled with a G Suite subscription. And then lastly on the right, we have some other pop-ups where customers can discover SaaS, not only through product search, but through highly visible placements by the Add to Cart button. So all of these things are really successful at driving not only new customer acquisition for our subscriptions, but reaching customers that may not have known that we also offer complementary SaaS products to go along with the other things they're purchasing. We do have free trials as well. So this is another great way for customers to engage with your products. If you're not familiar with a software, you may want to try something before you buy. And we know that free trials are another potential friction point, which is why we made it super easy for customers to actually just complete purchase or checkout, I guess I should say. To start a free trial, they basically create and manage their license in the same way. But the great thing about free trials is that we have them defaulted to auto-renew into a paid version. And we remove that, again, friction point where customers don't have to enter payment information. We already have it on file so they can continue using their product without that potential digression away from having to enter their payment information. I've also mentioned some vendor features that help enhance the shopping experience. These are just a few things that we have done to make that are optional to make the shopping experience a little bit better for customers. So the first one I have on here is single or multi-user subscriptions. We think this is important because we know that businesses aren't just teams of one. We do see some sole proprietorships, but we also see businesses that have more than one employee that need to purchase and manage multiple subscription licenses, which is why we have a feature called Team. Here's kind of the best representation I have on the right, where basically you can purchase multi-quantities of licenses in one transaction, and then an administrator is able to manage those licenses through the duration of the contract and assign and reassign as necessary based on the needs of the team. You also have some self-service tools to help you manage your products. So we offer the ability to create limited time price discounts to promote your products if you want to use price as an incentive for customers. And also we have some payment reporting that helps you kind of understand not only how customers are purchasing your products, but how much you're actually making by distributing through Amazon. You also have the ability to contribute to our future roadmap. Which is important because we also consider companies that do business with us as our customers. So we love hearing feedback, not only from our end customer, but from our vendor customers that do business with us. So now that I've shared a few examples of how we've built Amazon Business and ways that you can leverage the opportunity, I wanted to share a short example of how one particular vendor saw some really good success during product launch by leveraging these opportunities. So I haven't touched a whole lot around the opportunity other than saying that you integrate with APIs, but basically we provide this technical documentation. We make it, in my opinion, fairly easy to follow, but I'm not technical by any means, so don't quote me. It's easy for me to just look at something and say, sure. But we provide SDKs in several languages, so we make it easy for you to integrate in the language that you use currently. We provide some guidelines for detail page setup, so that we feature a high quality kind of page to customers. And we also provide some launch marketing. So that's some exposure on site as well as an email to customers that not only are interested in maybe your specific type of software, but software in general or business products in general. This vendor, in return, provided above and beyond the minimum requirement for detail page content. They provided some videos, they provided some comparisons, they even had people place some customer reviews after they purchased the products to help kind of build that trust with our customers. And they also invested in that search advertising, which I think is the most important and impactful thing that this particular vendor did. So as you can see, the result is pretty obvious. I will say that I cannot guarantee these results for everyone, but this particular vendor that did follow these recommendations saw some really good success. So impressions 4 times above the daily category average, which is super impressive when you think about just launching from scratch, already hitting like 4 times above the average impressions. They also reached the top seller spot in the subscriptions category during their launch week, which is pretty unprecedented considering that we have a number of products. Going back to the whole just kind of setting up Amazon Business, we have potentially hundreds of millions of products on Amazon. So to reach that top seller spot in a category is pretty impressive. So I hope that was insightful to you. I think that it's super exciting, at least being part of this kind of shift from physical e-commerce or physical B2B commerce to e-commerce, and also find it exciting to work with vendors that are looking for new distribution channels. And so anyway, that wraps up what I have to present. And we'll open it up to some Q&A if you have anything for me. My contact information is here as well. Also want to give a shout out to a couple members of my team sitting in the front row. Kendall and Jeremy, feel free to snag one of us if you think of something after the fact or want to get in touch with us.
Hi. So thanks for the presentation, by the way. As a software vendor, a SaaS vendor, if we wanted to work with the Amazon Marketplace, but we were constrained by resources because, whatever, we're a small company, we don't have engineers to dedicate, are there ways to work with Amazon to get a listing in the Marketplace without a formal integration where we say, well, we've got our SaaS product, and we'd like to get the listing there, but we're not going to integrate, we're not going to go through your cart or do those kinds of things. Are there ways to work with you under those circumstances, or does it absolutely need to have an engineer dedicated who's going to work, to implement some kind of formal integration?
In order to take advantage of this specific opportunity, you do need to integrate with our offering. But there are other ways, like if you're interested in using Amazon as more of like a marketing channel, there are opportunities. But this specific one does require integration, whether it's by a team of your engineers, or often we see different companies that don't have those resources actually hire or contract a third party to complete it.
Thank you.
Again, thanks also for the presentation. Some sense for the economics of having, distribute SaaS products?
It varies. So it's not something that I can really share as it pertains to specific vendors, but we do see, some pretty good engagement with customers. I can't get more specific than that, but you are opening up yourself to potentially hundreds of millions of customers. And we do see better engagement when you follow some of those recommendations that we made around engaging with the customers in return. So focusing on things that help you make your products more visible to customers. But yeah, I have to be super vague on that one because it's not something I can really share.
In terms of the types of software in B2B or price points, are there any categories of software products or price points which are particularly suitable for that, or which are seeing more success than others? And are there any categories or price points where it just doesn't, where it's not a great fit with Amazon SaaS offering?
That's a good question. So independent businesses have different needs. So for a smaller business, a lower price point is obviously a great kind of incentive for them. But we do have a range of products that go from just tens of dollars to a month to potentially hundreds of dollars a month. It depends on kind of your unique product or the different need of that business. But we do have a wide range. So I can't say that there's a particular sweet spot because it varies by the type of SaaS. And we do see engagement with super technical products that are way over hundreds of dollars.
And then in terms of kind of either verticals or categories of software products, are there any that stand out as particularly suitable for Amazon?
I would say based on what I've seen, some big categories are like productivity, security software, and things that help businesses kind of manage like CRM or marketing software. But we do have a wide range of different offerings. So I wouldn't say there's any one that's better than the other. But a lot of customers are more aware of things like productivity and security software than, say, a super specialized like technical piece of software.
Can you speak briefly about your terms and conditions around Amazon outreach to customers? And my particular concern would be, and I think it's a really interesting proposal here, but if I'm driving acquisition for an e-commerce platform in a B2B space, what guarantees do I have that in 2 or 3 years, Amazon's not going to be marketing directly to those customers and seeing them as customers for themselves?
So if a customer chooses to stay on Amazon, we consider them an Amazon customer. But what we've seen is we typically don't like cannibalize direct sales for some of the vendors that do business through Amazon. So it's kind of a new subset of customers. We don't have any intention of like stealing customers away from independent companies. And as long as your product is listed on our site, we're not going to do anything to kind of hurt that relationship. If you choose to, stop doing business, further down the line, then they are Amazon customers, so we already have that information even without having your specific product listed. So customers are still coming even if a particular software is not on our site.
Thank you.
All right, super. That's the last question for Greg. I assume you're going to be hanging around for the afternoon
Yeah.
if people have more questions. But thank you so much. Great presentation, and look forward to success.